Anything's possible here.
It
doesn't seem like anybody stifles your ideas. Everybody's encouraging and wants to help.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Everything Real in Fredericksburg. From local government to economic development and real estate. If it's happening in Fredericksburg, Texas, we talk about it. Now your host, Leanne Bailey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leanne Bailey. I'm a local realtor here in Fredericksburg for Portfolio Real Estate. The goal of my podcast is to invite our listeners to get to know everyone, not everyone, but get to know everything real in Fredericksburg, get to know the local characters here in town, and find out what those of us that live here think about Fredericksburg versus those that visit here. And today I have a special guest, Ethan Crane, with the Fredericksburg FBO. And if you're not sure what FBO is, it is the fixed base operations at Gillespie County Airport. So hi, Ethan. Welcome.
Hi, Leanne. Happy to be here.
It's really yeah. Cool. I know it took a while for us to get you here, and I'm just thrilled. And so fixed base operation, what in the world does that mean?
Well, the history of that is aircraft back in the 20s and 30s could land in a field kind of anywhere and get fuel, car gas, that kind of thing. And as you progressed up through the jet age and bigger piston airplanes, you really needed specialized fueling. And so the base operations became fixed at one spot. And that's kind of as airports became just a field that you could take off in any direction, then there's a runway that's fixed and a base of operations also fixed. And so that's where FBO comes from.
Yeah,
it's a neat old history, but
I wish I had done a little thinking about it before, but there's so many FBO things. I mean, people think FBO means something other than fixed base operation. They never get it. They never get it figured out. And I mean, I don't know why they would, but nonetheless, it's normally people don't think about fixed base operations. Mm-hmm. So the listeners probably know, but I'm a pilot. You're a pilot.
I'm a pilot. Yes, ma'am.
And so as I started asking guests to come, I probably went more for the things that I love the most. And so flying and anything avionics, aeronautical is really important to me, and I get a kick out of that. Mm-hmm. And so actually I'm glad that you came today because there was so much going on this weekend. But so now you are the general manager.
General manager and president, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yep. So you moved here.
I moved here
for this job.
I sure did. My background is I flight instructor for 6 years and then flew corporate aircraft for 4. And before that, though, when I was a kid, the first thing I can remember is airplanes, and that's all I wanted to do is fly airplanes.
Yeah,
that was just part of it. And so after flying for 10 years and just enjoying that, I had kids, and it was time to do something that was your home every night.
Yeah,
and that's part of what brought me here. To Fredericksburg, I was actually flying an airplane in and out every Wednesday for the auction, the cattle auction at Gillespie, and just got to know David, the owner of the FBO at the time. And it's kind of funny. It's a funny story. I was there kind of every Wednesday, and the hours were kind of crazy. It was during a big drought, and so the auctions were going way too long.
Yeah.
And so there was one night it was late at night, and I was just hanging out. FBO was closed. Big storm rolled in. And Beverly, his wife, brought me in. He ate dinner with them. And, we're eating pizza together, and Dave was just kind of looking at me like, who's this guy eating dinner with?
Measuring you up.
And after that, we started having lunch together every Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we did that for about 2 years, really.
That's
and
awesome.
About a year before that, he started talking about coming to work at the FBO, but I was like, no, I'm going to fly airplanes forever.
Yeah.
And then nothing else.
Yeah.
Then he started talking about being an owner with him, and that was a different story.
Yeah.
So that's how that was almost 10 years ago we moved here.
See, I didn't know that story. That's why I love bringing people in, for people that I've been friends with for a while, but really never took the time to go back and say, now, why are you here again?
It was a big opportunity to come here, but I probably wouldn't have taken the opportunity if it was, say, in Houston or nothing against Houston, but or a different part of the country.
Sure.
Just wanted to be in the hill country. That was probably the ultimate goal anyways.
Yeah. Well, and to do that at such a young age, most people do it more when they're retiring because, there's not the job base here, normally we have, it's more a retirement community or traditionally has, and you and I have talked about before, I would say 10 years ago is more of a retirement community. And since you guys have moved here, you're younger, you have a young family, we're seeing more younger people move in, and really that's added a lot of value to our community.
When you first got here, you go to church Sunday, and it was white hair everywhere, and nothing wrong with that, but it was like, oh man, this is This is older.
I'm the
community.
youngest.
Yeah, youngest in the room, and that was kind of normal in a meeting too. Be the youngest person in the room. But slowly, I say last 5 years, that's probably changed that much, especially since COVID. But even before that, there was young families moving here, and we have a pretty large community of folks in their 30s, early 40s, with young kids and kids that are getting into teenagers now, where we've all kind of moved here at the same time, the same idea, like, let's go to a nice place where we can raise our families in a nice community and get out of the big cities.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The safety factors here are huge. I know our PD and fire and rescue, all of those people, they work really hard. I sometimes when I'm in the public or when I'm selling a house and working with buyers, I tell them it's so safe here, and I don't think it's for lack of trying. I mean, everybody works hard to keep it safe.
They do. It's a clean, organized place. That's like your first impression. You come here is, wow, this place is clean. Wow, this place is nice. Everyone's friendly, and everyone just works hard.
A lot of proud of ownership.
There is a lot of that here.
Yeah.
That was also one thing that attracted me here was that I've heard this all around, just from way back from 1830s when free people first got here, was that folks just don't, they invest back in the community and back in their business. They don't just suck all the money out from their pocket. They really invest in the infrastructure in their businesses and make it grow instead of just pocketing and leaving town. There's not much of that going on.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think there is anyways.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. So can we go back to that one place that I really like, the airport? So this weekend we had the T6 fly-in. And I always love that. It happens every year around this time. And the folks come in and bring all the old T6 Texans, I guess, old military airplanes. You can hear them come in. I always hear them roaring in. And I'm like, yeah, they're coming, because it's the sound of the engines, radio engines, are so cool to me. That's one of the things I love about the airport is we're uncontrolled airspace. So you can really get down with the aircraft. Tell me what that means for your business there with the FBO.
Well, for us, a big flying is a big deal. It's number one, it's fun. It's fun to be around all the warbirds. It's fun to climb on them and fuel them up and get all oily and talk to the flight crews. And it's just fun to be around that, number one. And then those big events bring in folks for our business that buy fuel, that buy our services, stay at the hotels, go to restaurants in town, and go shopping too. All the spouses go shopping downtown. And so it's great for the airport. I love those events. We have quite a bit of them now. This airport is rare in the United States. We have a really excellent hotel and conference center and diner. And those you don't find at airports too often. The small airports like this, you might find them at LAX or DFW.
Sure.
That's a totally different thing. That's like you flying in, it's a layover. This is like a fly-in to the hotel. Because you want to stay there. And it's a really neat business we have at the airport. Not our business, but it's complimentary to FBO. Sure, it's really great. Yeah,
for sure. I like it because it's kind of on a small scale too. So you're not overrun with big commercial airliners and stuff. We don't have that. We just have what I think is the cool stuff. Now, some people think that just tourists and visitors come into the airport. That's really not true. There's a lot of locals that use the airport.
We have. I've never been able to make numbers, put numbers to it, but a large chunk of our customers are based here or live here or have a second home here. A large chunk. I would say it's about 1/3 of our business is probably tourism coming in the airport. Most of them are folks who have decided to live out here or have grown up here. We have close to or right at, it kind of depends, 100 aircraft based at the airport. And that's some years more or less. It kind of depends, but how you want to count it. But it's right at 100 airplanes now. It's a busy little airport. We are getting within, a few years ago, 2017, I believe, we broke the top 500 operations. How I word this? Top operations in the United States. We broke the top 500 of that. So, and in the years we've been working away, it's called higher in that list. I'm waiting to see what happens for next year, but we were getting closer to 350 in that range in terms of the United States. And it's uncontrolled airport. Small airport, 5,000 feet in that a little bit. And it's amazing how busy the airport is. It's amazing.
And for those that don't know, uncontrolled space, it's just we don't have a tower. We don't have anyone up there directing traffic. So everyone has to call their locations and their legs. And I love listening to the radio when I'm out there when we're not flying.
It's great.
In fact, the city of Fredericksburg put a observation station on the other side from you.
That's right.
On the park side, so folks can go over and listen, sit and watch the airplanes come in.
That was a cooperation between the city and Bob Snowden and Tom McKnight.
Yes.
To put up the memorial to David and Beverly Smith, really the founders. Not founders, you would call it just visionaries of the airport. Yeah. And they're the founders of the FBO.
Yeah, the private donors really came and stepped up, Bob Snowden and Tom McKnight, and donated the funds to do that. Cool. And I think they have more plans coming in the future to just keep growing that. But, the way it started was you'd see vehicles sitting over there on the other side of the fence watching people land airplanes. And now you can not just sit and watch and observe, you can get out
and you can hear it.
And then you can hear the radios.
Yeah, turn the little dial and you broadcast the Unicom. It's really neat.
It's cool.
And people ask me, how does that work with they just talk to each other and separate themselves? Like, if you touch, then you're both done, so
that's exactly
it's a mutual
right.
self-destruction thing, you don't want that to happen. So.
That's crazy. Well, so let's bounce over to your family. You have a couple of kids and your wife.
I have 2 boys.
Yeah.
Jack and Cooper. Jack will be 12 in just a couple weeks. And he's a big old boy right now. He's growing fast. And then Cooper's 9.5, 9. And we're both heavy in baseball right now.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. When we got here, Cooper was 3 months old, 4 months old, something like that.
Yeah.
And
I remember back in the day when you were moving here, I took your phone call.
That's right.
So, just happened to be on phone duty. And I remember talking. I said, who are you and why are you moving here? And you're like, well, I'm going to go to work for the airport. And then, of course, maybe in the pilot, probably talked your ear off for 30 minutes. But, the kids were certainly much younger back then.
Much younger.
And time's flying by.
It's amazing.
So I like to talk to the younger families because younger families are our future. That's what keeps Fredericksburg, I think, in motion. We have a lot of great jobs for families. What are some of the activities that you guys do as a family together here in town?
Well, sports. So that's one thing. And soccer, we've done basketball, soccer, baseball, certainly baseball right now. Swimming team, the swim team also.
Nice.
I try to remember all of them. There's probably missing something in there. And that's something we do as a family or the kids individually. But as from the events, oh man, I have a soft spot in my heart for Oktoberfest. Ask my family; they know I get all excited.
Do you get dressed up?
I get dressed up a little bit. Use a hat and just nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
But I love doing all the high striker. I love getting the medals. I love eating good food, just hanging out. It's a happy event. I just love that. There's no I guess no negativity to it to me. It's just a great happy thing. It's good memories of kids and us just picking out and drinking beer and having fun.
Yeah.
Maybe me drinking beer more than the kids, but
I think that's what's funny is there's a lot of events or things to do here that I feel like once you've done it, you've kind of you're good. Like we've done that, we've been there. It kind of caters to new people coming to town, or after a while, it kind of feels the same. But there's certain events here like Oktoberfest and crawfish and stuff like that to me that we go
Fest.
every year.
I don't want to see too many. I miss some. The PCAA concerts, I love going there, just hanging out on the Sunday and listening to those, dance with the kids. But something about we had Palm Sunday a few days ago. Oktoberfest. I had Marketplatz, and it was great. I just love Marketplatz. Is really cool. It's kind of the whole community kind of comes towards it. There's a lot of things throughout the year. Not just the ones I go to, but also ones that are geared towards tourism. But that's okay, It's a neat square we have.
It really is. I love it during Christmas when all the lights are on, and then when they turn them off in January, I'm just so blue. I'm like, can we just do this all year? Can we just get a version? Because it's incredible, and it is. I cannot believe a town this size, is able to carry on the things that we see at Marketplace, and like you said, for everyone, every age, it's really been well maintained. It's got a lot of history that runs. I'm going to say it wrong. I don't even want to say this again, but all the history that they've done there, and then the Pioneer Museum a little further up, that's for locals and visitors alike. So I really think that's great.
Christmas, I love the Christmas parade. It is really, really neat. This last year was special. I don't know, it's all part of it. It's all downtown. It's just great.
So speaking of the Christmas parade, you are a board member of the Chamber of Commerce, which that's a Chamber of Commerce event.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your role being in the chamber.
Well, I got involved when I first moved here. One of the first things people said you had to do is go get in leadership class.
Yes.
I was like, okay, go figure this out. And I think I was so excited to do it. I applied in January, and I first met Penny, and they were in the hospital building at the time, remodeling.
Yes.
Now. And she was like, "You're applying for leadership in January." Usually you apply like August.
Yeah. You're a little early.
So,
or you missed last year's.
Maybe that's what it was,
You're a little early for this year.
I didn't know, so I just went to the application and filled it out and turned it in, And that was in our class graduated in 16, so that was probably 15 when we started. And from there, I loved leadership class. It was great.
Yes.
And then got invited to the chamber board from there. And I really wanted to lead the leadership program as a mentor, coordinator, and did that a couple times. It was just so rewarding and so neat to do that. You learn everything quickly on how the community works through the leadership program, and it's a fire hose, but it's great.
Yeah.
And that class you graduate with, there's people that you get really close to.
I agree with that.
Oh yeah.
If you want to come meet some of the best friends you'll ever have and learn about Fredericksburg. My husband and I both went through leadership. And when I like it, puts you in a position to be around people that you normally might not ever run into, meet, any of those things. I mean, it's a little different when you're dangling off of, ropes courses and so that's a great way to all of a sudden become friends.
Yeah, it is.
But I will say there's a large group of my class that we just became really good friends. And I loved that so much. And we still stay in touch today and still reach out to each other. And now we're on different boards and serve. But getting kind of that behind the scenes look at Fredericksburg. I know I was with people that weren't from Fredericksburg that lived here for a long time, people that were born and raised here. And a lot of them just had no idea some of those little things that go on in Fredericksburg that we didn't know.
Those weird tours that you can go behind the scenes to see, this is how this works, It's a neat program.
There's a lot going on in this little town.
There's a lot going on in this town. It will surprise you.
Yeah. A lot of creativity, entrepreneurship.
It's
incredible.
A lot of entrepreneurship here. I don't. You try to figure out why this town is different than somewhere else. Just 20 miles away. What is the difference? I don't know. It's just some kind of attitude of work hard, invest. It's organized, it's clean, and that all just comes together somehow into just, I don't know, a lot of entrepreneurship. Yeah. It's amazing for a little town.
Kind of anything's possible here. It doesn't seem like anybody stifles your ideas. Everybody's encouraging and wants to help. Mm-hmm. And so
there's, I hate to get so far down the rabbit hole on that, but there's excellent banking here. So you can start that business and get it going. There's customers here. I mean, and then there's coworkers and people you work with that are just, I don't know, they're excellent. Mm-hmm. So it all kind of works together.
I like that you say that. I think sometimes we forget that all the pieces that go together with business. And so you have a lot of support. Sometimes smaller towns don't always thrive because they don't have the support systems that they need to grow a business or be involved. They don't have the protection, the staff, all of that. And I think you have all of that here in town.
I think so. Yeah.
So
it's a neat place. It's a rare. I think it's rare in rural towns.
Yeah.
To see something like that, and it's just rare. I think to have it here, the full thing here.
Yeah.
The full thing.
The full thing.
It's
all right. That sounds like a tagline.
Yeah, it does.
You got the full thing. You need a logo to go with that. What is your outlook for Fredericksburg in 5-10 years? What do you think the boys will be doing in another 10 years?
That's interesting, isn't it? Well, if they're both
10.
pilots and working at the FBO, or that would be great.
Yeah. Do they want to fly? Do they have any interest?
Right now,
they're a little young.
Well, when I was their age, my room was all airplane stuff. Everything. It was airplanes. The toys were airplane. The models were airplane. Everything was airplanes. And so right now they don't have that. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's baseballs.
It's baseball. It's other things right now. We'll just see what happens. So that's just that would be really cool. But if it doesn't happen, that's okay. Each person's their own person.
Absolutely.
But 10 years from now, I just heard a really neat talk from the state demographer at a conference, and it's the Texas State demographer, and he was talking about population in Texas in 2040, 2050 was going to look like. And in general, anyone along the I-35 corridor is going to see extreme growth, which is huge. Houston too. In fact, one of the takeaways I took from that conference, where his speech was, 87% of the people in Texas live from basically I-35 Del Rio up to Dallas Fort Worth.
Right.
That's a huge, and then Houston, and the rest of it's rural. And he had little, the graphs and charts and the counties, and basically, if you were far away from I-35, if you were rural, you were basically losing population. But I noticed Gillespie County in there was an orange colored, and it showed a population basically the increase from about 25,000 up to about 50,000. Yeah. So basically double we have now, basically. And so, will Fredericksburg grow? Will be double? It might be. There's going to have to be a whole lot more housing and more houses put in for the double. Right. And I don't know if I see huge subdivisions going in, huge ones like you see east of Austin. I don't know if I see that or not, because land's so expensive. Right. You know that better than anybody. But you could see the population growth double in Fredericksburg, or at least grow by 5,000 if we're at 12 right now, or 10 or 11, whatever it is. So I see us growing and prospering still. I don't see any major problems. I don't see tourism drying up anytime soon. I don't see agriculture drying up unless droughts just persist, which I think are coming out of that. I don't see it going down. I see a really positive outlook for our whole community. We have some struggles to figure out in town and in the county, but I think everyone here is smart to fix it, and people understand investing in the future here better than most places. I think we'll figure all this out. All those little problems, figure them out.
I appreciate you saying that, investing in the future. I think our leadership, and I'm a little partial since Clinton is a city manager, but I do feel like our leadership's forward thinking. They're paying attention. I think Clinton went to a presentation the same as what you've heard. And, I think Texas is growing whether we want it to or not. And it's how we look for it and pay attention to it and manage it. Yes. And I think that, everybody's going to grow in one way or the other, or they're going to drop and possibly blow away. So I think we've got a good group of smart folks here and that care about the growth.
I'm impressed with our group of city and county leadership right now. They're is excellent, all of them. And things change, you never know, I guess. But right now, they're excellent leaders, and not just in those city and county kind of key positions, but even just in our community, the folks on the boards that are running all these nonprofits. They're pretty smart folks. Yeah. And to get back to the airport, we're investing in our future here. We're building 2 big hangars right now here at the FBO, and so we're betting on the future for sure.
I think that's great. So I just wanted to come back around one more thing. I know your kids are in school; they're in the sports.
Yep.
I know it's important to you that we get more infrastructure for kids.
Yeah. A few years ago, we had contentious.
Yeah.
A bond. I can't remember the dollar amount. I thought it was $3 million, but I could be wrong with that. For parks, basically, and it was voted down actually pretty well, and that was only about 2 years ago, if I remember right. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so my boys right now are playing on the baseball fields, and last year they were dirt. Even the outfield, infield was dirt, and it was pretty rough. This year we had some rain, so they're in better shape, but it's pretty rough.
But rains bring what?
More weeds and stickers. And I had a knee full of stickers the other day throwing kids soft toss baseball, and
I'm gonna have to get you some knee pads.
Yeah, it's right.
Bless your heart.
Something I had to put a glove down on my knee and then picked up the glove and stickers over.
Yeah. If you ever see me wearing my snake boots, it's not because I'm scared of snakes. It's because I'm trying not to get stickers in my pants. So I'm going to get you some snake boots that come over your knees. That way you don't have stickers.
Show up to baseball practice.
Yeah. But the point is, we need some more infrastructure for our kids.
Yes, we do.
If that's something we could make a request, if anyone local's listening, we want to ask more of that.
I think so. I think, and there's some talk around there right now about sports parks, and I don't know how that's going to come out in terms of who shares what in terms of costs, but there's a way to do this here in town. We're smart enough to figure it out.
Absolutely.
I think so.
We just need everybody to know it's important.
It's very important. I think I would say if you don't know it's important, go out to a baseball game in the evening and see how many kids are out there, how many cars are. You can't park out there. You have to park somewhere random out in the grass and fight for a parking spot because there's so many people playing at one time and so many games overlapped. And that's not just here; it's also Old Fair Park. Same thing. Parking lots full, streets full, kids everywhere. Soccer field, same way. There is I don't on a Saturday morning playing soccer. You look up, there might be 1,000 kids that are playing soccer.
And boys and girls. And ages from here to here.
It's a huge group. I don't know, it could be 1,000. It's a lot of kids on that field, on the different fields playing. And there's, again, you're fighting for parking spots. Everyone's parking the grass, and it's wild.
And that's what we want. We want kids out.
Yeah, we need kids out doing things. There's a huge demand for it. There's definitely more younger families here than there used to be. I know that the school has, I've heard different folks on the school boards talk about how the number of kids enrolled in school is kind of the same every year. It might grow by 2% or decline by 2%. There's a lot of kids going to private school too.
Yes.
There's a lot of kids that are homeschooled also. And I couldn't put numbers to it, but I feel like there's more young families here than there were before.
Oh, I definitely. I think in the real estate world, I've definitely seen more families that were buying and selling. Well, mostly buying, but sometimes also on an upgrade. A funny story right quick. I was driving probably to Werner to eat lunch or something, and I drove by Fair Park, and there's two older men, probably I would say in their late 70s, maybe 80s, throwing the ball to each other out in the base. Like one of them, he wasn't bending down like he was catching, but he was standing at home plate, and there's another guy out. That's great. And I was like, not just the kids like baseball. No. It was so cute. I wish I had turned around and gone back and recorded them because it just made me smile. But that's Fredericksburg. Yeah, it's a neat place for sure. Yeah. Well, man, thank you so much for coming and visiting with us and telling us a little bit about your life. I'd love to bring you back again and that's great. Tell us more about some of the fun things. Is there anything going on at the airport that we need to be looking for coming up this summer? No, I don't have any big events this summer yet. It gets a little hot to be flying in. Usually our peak events kind of end about April because of just how hot it starts to get. The weather. We just get really busy with small airplanes and jet traffic, just very busy as people start to come and visit on weekends and a weekday. Yeah. But no big events coming up right now. Okay. But it's... Well, keep doing what you're doing. I think it's so good to have you, young blood, out there. And thanks. He's not much younger than me. But I'm glad your family's doing well. And we'll invite you back sometime soon. That'd be great. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Everything Real in Fredericksburg. Get more information about the Fredericksburg area and contact Leanne at labaileyrealestate.com.